we rule the cricket world. Now the rule seems coming.
Welcome to the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, your one-stop shop for all things West Indies cricket. By the fans, for the fans. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition, another episode of the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. I'm one half of the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, Machel St. Patrick Hewitt. We're back with a live show. We're back to review the day. We're back to look at just how likely or unlikely it is that West Indies can defeat Australia. The fact that we're even having that as a conversation, first things, you know what? Round of applause. Big up the inexperienced man. Big up the youth man. Big up the squad. Good job, Desi. Big up everyone who went on this Australia tour, because everyone, let's not get this twisted. We can get into the minutiae. We can try and break down what went wrong and who should have done better and this, that. The simple reality and simple facts are, prior to this tour happening, everybody expected West Indies to be absolutely destroyed. Don't listen to those fans who try and claim they thought otherwise might happen. Everybody expected West Indies to be destroyed. And I mean, let's not get twisted. The first test, we were still thrashed, but with the ball, we competed. This test, you can make an argument to say that we have competed with bat and ball across every single day, given the state of play in terms of where the match is at, right? You could even argue that up until the final session today, you could even argue that West Indies were, if you were scoring it as a boxing match, you'd say West Indies were 10-9 ahead going into the final session today. You'd say, yeah, they're slightly shading this one. It all depends on what happens in this final session. Now, as it was, they got licked down in the final session and could only set Australia 216 to win. But again, nobody could have expected that. Oh, there's a bad echo going on, apparently. Anyone else hearing an echo? And who else is hearing an echo? Let me know in the chat before I continue talking. I'm not hearing an echo on my end. This ain't Santoki's Wi-Fi, so anyone else hearing an echo? Right, I'm moving on. So with that said and done, no echo. I think nobody could have said or could have predicted that we'd head into. It feels like the final day. It's obviously day 4, but that we'd head into the final day still having a chance of winning the test match. And again, let's make that clear. I know Australia are 60 for 2, right? I know that they need 156 runs to win, but on paper, we still have a chance of winning this test match, and certainly far more of a chance than anybody would have expected prior to this test, prior to any test, prior to this tour. And they're to be credited. They're to be credited for that. In terms of, and yeah, actually, good point from Rod. Rod says anything can happen in sport. Exactly. Even though it looks likely that Australia will run down these 156 and probably relatively comfortably. And do you know why they'll run it down, or why we should expect them to run it down? Is because this Australia team, like there's some people who want to say, oh, they're not as good as they actually are. We're talking about the world #1 side. We're talking about the world test champions. And again, those who are listening on the live right now, and particularly those who are in the Discord group, they will remember me saying when Australia were 59 for 5 on day 2, people who are currently in the live who are from the Discord group will confirm that I typed in the Discord group at that time, Australia are still favourites. At 59 for 5, I said Australia are still favourites to win this test match. Because for me, the issue, not even the issue, but for me, champion teams dig themselves out of a hole regularly, right? They don't snatch defeat in games. They find a way to win even when it looks like they might lose. Remember that Ashes test? Was it the first one or the second one where Cummins and Nathan Lyon got them over the line against England? Australia shouldn't have won that. But there is something about the mentality of this Australia side. There is something about the way that those cricketers are grown. Yes, of course, there's factors like money, there's factors like resources, but money doesn't teach you mentality. Money doesn't teach you a winner's mentality. You either have that stuff or you don't, right? And this Australian side and a lot of these Australian players don't believe they will lose in any situation. And they believe they can get themselves out of any situation, right? So, and it's like in that first innings, I was like, yeah, one of Stark or Cummins is probably going to hit a 50. And it was Cummins. Cummins ended on 63, not out. Even if we made inroads early tomorrow and gave ourselves a chance, I would still be like, well, boy, until Pat Cummins is out, who bats number 9, I still wouldn't give West Indies a real shot at winning. Anything is possible. Anything is possible, but it would take unheard of bowling from a unit which probably won't have Shamar Joseph bowling as well. As much as West Indies have tweeted that he's had a scan and nothing is fractured and so on and so forth, there's a difficult decision to be made around Shamar Joseph. And I can't believe that I'm going to be the person to say this, but Shamar has a T20 franchise contract in that down bad, no fans Dubai league, right? What's best for Shamar? Obviously, we want him to play for West Indies. Obviously, we would love him to bowl. But a man's also got to think of his career. And West Indies have a duty of care for his career. Man's come out of nowhere to play for West Indies, right? And is about to go eat a nice food in Dubai straight after this test match. I would love him to declare himself fit and say, I'm going to go through the pain barrier to bowl for West Indies. But if that's going to get in the way of his bag, maybe he just won't go through that pain barrier. Maybe West Indies owe it to him to not let him go through that pain barrier. I don't know. I don't know where you lot stand on all that, but man deserves his chance to make a bag, yes. So we will see. We will see how that all unfolds. Without Shamar, it seems difficult. Hold on, let me see some questions. Can we keep these guys? Oh, sorry. So T1L1 says we should nurture what we have now. Please, can we figure out the inevitable mashup? Please, can we figure out the inevitable mashup we usually do? Can we keep these guys together? We'll get to that. I'm going to get to that at the end of this right near the end of this live. I saw that Lord Jabu said that this is going to be 3 hours long. Listen, I have to lock this one off at 7:15. So if you lot still hear me talking at 7:10 UK time, tell me to lock it off because I'm going to lock it off. But I'm going to address this issue about keeping the team together in a second. So where was I? Yeah, it's going to be a very hard task with the remaining bowlers. So what's that? Roach, Alzari, Justin Graves. I mean, obviously Justin got a wicket, and Kevin Sinclair. That's fundamentally what we've got. There's all like, so Arjun Holder is saying we've got to bowl aggressively. I hear that, but Joe Bob, I'm coming to you. But I hear that, Arjun. I hear that we've got to bowl aggressively, but who can bowl aggressively? It's only Alzari. And if the plan that you've got is that West Indies have to attack and they've got to bowl aggressively, then that means you've got to bowl Alzari in really short stints. You've got to bowl Alzari in 3 over stints, 4 over stints, then rest him, bring him back again. So my plan of attack, if I'm Craig Brathwaite and Andre Coley and the think tank, Jimmy Adams, Sean Tate, etc., is I think you've got to try and dry up the runs. You've got to try and dry up the runs to allow Alzari to come back in quick bursts and just bowl some heat. And you basically say to Alzari, just bowl as quick as you can. We'll take you off after 3 overs. We'll take you off after 4 overs. The rest of you, you're bowling wicket to wicket, keeping it as tight as you possibly can to drag out the game. Now, there is a role for Kevin Sinclair to play here. I don't know if people kind of clocked that Nathan Lyon bowled exception. How much? In fact, let me go find Nathan Lyon's stint. He bowled a really long spell, or he bowled a lot in this second innings. Let me just find it. So Nathan Lyon bowled, where is he? 22 overs. He bowled the most. 22 overs, 3 for 42, economy of 1.9. There is obviously Kevin Sinclair is not Nathan Lyon, but there is a role for Kevin Sinclair here where he can't just tie up an end. He's gonna have to try and make some inroads to again allow the pressure to build on the Australian. So I don't look at it as right, Kemar Roach, Justin Graves, you're going to be the wicket takers. I'm looking at Kevin Sinclair. Can you also tie up an end, but be an attacking wicket taker at the same time? So I think there's a role for Kevin tomorrow. We only have 156 runs to play with. And we're kind of caught into, we're going to be caught in two minds here. Hold on. Z Gould, I'm coming to you. I challenge Machel on a lot of stuff on Twitter. He ain't responding to me. Fairs. State your comments then. State your comments, Z Gould. I'm here right now. I'm outside. What are you saying? I'm outside, man. Say what you need to say. And I will question it, yes. It's hard for Craig because I wouldn't say that Craig's a naturally attacking captain, but when you've only got 156 to play with, do you go tight first thing in the morning or do you go all out attack? If you go all out attack, the game could pretty much be done within the first 30 to 45 minutes in terms of who's at the wicket at the moment. Steve Smith, who's with him? Steve Smith and Cameron Green. Them men will probably fight fire with fire, right? And then before you know it, the target's under 100 runs and the game is pretty much done. So it's hard to know what the best form of attack is. But obviously you start with your best pacers, or your only pacers, which is Kemar Roach and Shamar Joseph, and you kind of go from there, you know? But anyways, hey, where's what's his name? Z Gould, I'm waiting. You said you had something to say. Z Gould, I'm still here, you know. Say something. I can't see no comments. Bring it on, you know. Someone tells Z Gould to say something. He says he's got something to say. Right. So in terms of the match itself, West Indies, let's go over their batting performance. Obviously, Tage was out on the second day. Who was next? Craig. How did Craig get out again? Oh, flipping hell. A loose drive straight to, was it mid-on? Or mid-off even? A loose drive straight to mid-off. Yeah, Craig gave that one away. And the thing is, Craig looked like he was set to play. Craig looked like he was set to do, obviously, what he does, which is, I'll drop anchor, everybody bat around me. And truth be told, once Craig got out, so Craig got out when it was 63 for 2. Once Craig got out, I thought the game was done there. And this is why when people say to me, Craig isn't good, he needs to bat quicker, etc., any kind of win we try and set up as a team, you kind of know in these type of situations, it generally revolves around, can Craig drop anchor to allow us time to make these runs and everybody else can play a bit more of their natural game. Z's back. Let me see what he's saying. You keep changing the narrative. You tweeted something saying Australia closing on the W. Then a few minutes after you said it's game on. Make up your mind. I challenge that. We have a weak mentality. Okay, Z, let me ask you something. Do you know that 2 people run that account? Or do you think it's just me? Come again, my guy. Wheel and come again. Wheel and come again. Okay? 2 people run that account, 2 people tweet. The whole point of the Caribbean Cricket Podcast Twitter handle is no one ever knows who's tweeting. There is a way to tell, but you never know who's actually tweeting anything at any point in time. Wheel and come again. If it's going after Indian Twitter man, it's probably me. But other than that, you never know who's really tweeting on the handle. So you have to wheel and come again, yes? Moving on. So Craig got out. And then once Craig got out, obviously Kirk was playing his shots. And let's talk on Kirk McKenzie, because at the end of the day, Kirk has ended this tour with a 50, a 40, 2 20s, and an average of 35. And again, I think it was Gio in the Discord. Gio said, "Mash, are you going to apologize to Kirk McKenzie?" holding my hands up. I said Kurt McKenzie would struggle in Australia, and he hasn't done. If anything, Kirk has liked the extra pace coming at him. Does Kirk deserve props for how he's played in Australia? Yes, of course he does. He's going to go back to the Caribbean, having averaged 35 on his first real international tour, and his stock is higher. Some of you want to probably put some stocks in on Kurt McKenzie, which is cool. I'm going to beg that all of you show a tiny bit more caution with Kirk. Hear me out when I say this. And big up Kirk. Big up Kirk. But tell me what the difference is between Kurt McKenzie and John Campbell. Right? And that's not me criticizing Kirk. That's not me criticizing John Campbell either. But what I am saying with Kurt McKenzie is Kirk is a shot maker. The problem you get, now that's both a positive, but that can be a negative as well. The problem with a shot maker is you will make some shots, you'll look pretty, you'll look good, but you're generally at the highest level going to get found out somewhere between 20 and 40 because you can't just keep playing shots. You have to have a defense. Now, my issue for Kirk is at this point in time, it looks like his defense is attack. And when you keep playing shots, you're probably going to nick off at some stage. Now, I'm not saying that to say Kirk doesn't deserve a place in the West Indies side. Kirk deserves to go to England. I'm not critiquing that in any shape or form. But it means that people better just have a bit more caution about where they're putting Kirk on the kind of pedestal here. We have to still let him learn, hopefully. Still let him develop, hopefully. But it should be clear to proper cricket observers that Kirk has a bit of a temperament and concentration problem. Because when you're as talented as Kirk is, or when you have the natural talent that Kirk has, you have to know when's the right time to play your shots, right? And I don't know if anyone deeped it with Kirk. I don't know if anyone deeped it with Kirk, right? I'm sorry, I'm just seeing the comments that people are making. I don't know if anyone deeped it with Kirk. Kirk was playing a runner ball innings and got to about 35 or 35. Then Australia patterned him up. They started choking him. They did the same thing to Alec Athanaze, by the way. They started choking him outside the off stump, choking him, bowling a really tight line and reducing his scoring opportunities. And once you reduce your scoring opportunities on young men who haven't really developed their game, they're going to get out. With Alec, it was obvious that Alec was going to nick off because Alec's primary scoring options are through the offside. With Kirk, it was likely he was going to go for a big shot to get away from the pressure that was building on him. And by pressure, I don't mean that he was under pressure because he actually wasn't. But to Kirk, it would have been, I haven't scored a run. I haven't scored 4 runs in a while. You see those type of players where it's like, I like to beat ball. I like to hit the ball to the boundary. The pressure was building on Kirk, probably in his head that ball's not meeting bat, bat's not meeting ball. I'm not scoring regularly. So he brought out a big shot, an ill-judged sweep to Nathan Lyon, who's a GOAT in this modern era, and got done. So, right, so Matt, this is my point. So Matt says Kirk was under pressure. You're missing my point. Of course he wasn't under pressure, but in his head, he was under pressure. The man had gone 35 or 35. When he got out, he was 41 or 50. To a player like Kurt McKenzie, he's feeling like he's under pressure because he's not scoring freely. Them men like to score freely. That's how they play. So I'm telling you, he would have built up a level of pressure in his own head that he was no longer scoring freely. And that's why the big shot came. I'm not having the goal, but it's clear where Kirk's development needs to go, if that makes sense. So big up Kirk at the end of the day. Like, Kirk's the top scorer for the West Indies with the bat, and he was the one that probably, well, I certainly, but most of us probably assumed would be the weakest of our bats in the top 6. He leaves with his reputation heightened. We have to applaud it. Big up Kirk. Alec came to Australia with the highest reputation of all the players that were picked. Obviously, for those listening to Lara on comms, Lara certainly has major stocks in Alec Athenay's. I've got stocks in Alec Athenay's. I think the Aussies cottoned on quite quickly that this guy loves to score through the offside. And again, for those of you who are in the Discord group, you will remember. I think I was messaging in the Discord group about 5 minutes before Alec got out, and I was saying in the Discord group, if you watch Alec and study him, about 90 to 95% of his shots come through the offside. He's a great offside player, right? Australia's the #1 team in the world. They figured that out, dried him up, and therefore Alec was fishing. Alec was fishing outside off to get back on ball, so he nicked off. And literally, again, Joe Bob's just said it. Joe Bob's in the Discord group. I literally was talking about it 5 minutes before Alec got himself out. And if I know that, you can best believe Australia know that. I'm just a nobody man on Caribbean Cricket Podcast who's in London, and I know that. So you don't think Australia haven't figured that out? Big up Alec Athenay said same way. Man got a little 35. I still got my stocks in Alec Athenay's, but this will have been a learning experience for him. I think one of the man them on comms, I don't know who it was. Is it Ian Smith? One of the man them, Australia man them on comms, even made the point later on in play that he even noticed on comms. He was like, yeah, these West Indian players, a lot of them aren't leg side players. And if comms man is noticing that, you better believe that Australia have noticed that. So you dry up their man on outside off, you take away the shots that they love, they're probably going to get out because they like to feel bat on ball. And that's the price you have to pay when you've got attacking players who like to feel bat on ball, who are inexperienced at the highest level and haven't quite worked out range of shots needed at the highest level and level of temperament needed at the highest level. If you see what I mean, we can't be too hard on them. Man, them are young. It's only their second and third test match respectively. Third and fourth test match respectively, and against India and Australia, no less. So we have to give man time. Next up, England. It don't get any easier. Ball's going to be moving in England unless they serve up Bazball flat pitches. We got to give these men time to try and develop. Now, interesting. So Matt says this squad can't go to England. I've got 19 minutes left in the live before I have to leave. So I'm going to address that. When we get to the 10-minute countdown, let me know, because I'm going to address that, because there's a very important question around that about do any of them deserve to go to England after this tour. Anyways, so that was Alec and that was Kirk. Kavem got run out. I saw some criticism of Kavem getting run out, but sometimes I think you just have to give credit to the fielder. I thought that was fantastic fielding by Travis Head. Don't get me wrong, it looks bad because of the nature of the dismissal, but sometimes I think you just have to hold your hands up and go, you know what, rate the fielder for that, because that wasn't easy. People made that fielding out as if that was just normal for Travis Head to pull that off. I just think, you know what, unlucky Kavem Hodge. You were going, you were riding your luck a bit, but you were out there, you were gritting it out after your 71 in the first innings, got to 29. I think 3 balls before he got out. Who bowled it? Someone bowled a ball into his buddy man. And I think that probably unnerved him. And once he got that ball in his buddy man, I think he just weren't the same really after that. He looked a bit scrambled and then obviously got run out. He got run out a few balls later. So again, Kavem, what was my stats? Kavem ends the tour as our second highest run scorer, average of 29. Again, I think it all things being well, that shouldn't in a normal situation, that shouldn't be enough to secure your place. But it's West Indies, an average of 29 in Australia. He's done enough to secure his place to go to England. If you disagree, let me know. But Z says, who would you replace Craig with? Craig? No, you must mean Tage, right? Craig? Craig who? Craig who? You can't mean Craig Brathwaite. No, let me come off this one. Right, so anyways, Kavem got out. I missed. Do you know what? So I missed. Was it Josh after Kavem? Yeah, Josh got out. I missed Josh's dismissal. You know, I hadn't even watched it back. How did Josh get out? I know he nicked off, but was he chasing the wide one? Did he have? Did he? What happened? Anyone know? Anyone know how? Someone tell me how Josh got out. I didn't even see it. I don't actually know. I know he got 7, but someone give me a quick little description in the chat, because I haven't even seen that dismissal yet. Okay, so Lou J says he was fishing. Fishing? Yeah, Vishal says he was chasing. Lime says it was a wide one. Okay, so that sounds like it was a Dunson Bolsey shot then. So so Josh got out for 7. Luigi says it was seventh stump ball and he just guided it to slip. Ah boy. So Josh obviously chased a wide one, then got out. But given he top scored, in fact, he might have top scored in the match, right? No one's beaten the 79, right? So we cut him some slack. But obviously, given the context of the game, we needed him to bat a lot longer than that. He leaves the tour with an average of 28. I'd say that's about par for what you want from your wicketkeeper, right? How many? And he leaves with an average of 28, and he's the 3rd highest run scorer from the West Indies team. I'd say that's about par for your wicketkeeper. So yeah, you know what? We leave that one and move on. Graves. So Justin Graves will leave this tour with 68 runs at 17. Scored 33 today. How did he get out again? Yeah, caught by Alex Carey. I'm not sure. I'm not sure Justin belongs at the highest level, people. Is that harsh? I think he's gonna go to England, but I'm not sure I haven't seen enough. Put it this way, Jason Holder takes his place immediately. So for those people trying to say Jason Holder doesn't get back in the side, Jason Holder doesn't even have to train to get back in the side. He just back in the side. Okay. Please put some respect on Jason Holder's name. Jason just comes straight back into this side. Don't get this twisted. Please don't get this twisted. So I haven't seen enough from Graves. C says, based on what does Jason Holder get back in the side? C, come on, man. We're talking about Jason Holder here, and I'm one of the people who is one of the few people who's willing to be critical of Jason. But come on, man, this is England. We're going England, big England. Holder just replaces him straight away. Come on, man. Is this even a discussion? This one surely can't be a discussion. So anyways, so yeah, Holder comes back in. That's not to diss Greaves. Holder comes back in. Do you know what I mean? So when Greaves got out, what was the score then? 184 for 7, and it was kind of just looking sticky then. Obviously, Kevin Sinclair stayed not out, but at the bare minimum, when the day started, you always felt that to make this really tricky for Australia, you'd need 275. You'd have to set Australia at least, at the bare minimum, 275, ideally 300. That should have been the kind of goal at the start of the day. That said, given the inexperience in the side, I think it's churlish. I think it's churlish to look back and go, they only set Australia 216 to win in the final innings of a test match. Tell me the last time West Indies competed like this against Australia properly. Anyone who's on the internet right now, go and find me, whether it's from the 2015, and in Australia, by the way, whether 2022, 2015, 2009. Tell me the last time West Indies made Australia have to do something, really do something to win a test match. Okay, so I think it's churlish. I think it's churlish to turn around and go, they only set Australia 216. Yes, we all wanted more, but at least them man did something. At least they turned up and made Australia have to fight to win this test match. Do you know how many Ashes test matches England have had recently in Australia, and they just got licked down in big Ashes, you know, big Ashes that gets hyped up to be the greatest test cricket of all time. England go Australia and just get licked down 5-0 on a calm one, on a quick, calm one. We set Australia 2-16 to try and win a test match. England could learn some lessons from us about how to be competitive in Australia, you know? So let's not get 2-2-2 on the man them back, you know? They done us proud in some senses. They've done us proud, and we have to applaud them. You know what I'm saying? So 2-1-6 was set. Obviously, it was going to with Shamar Joseph obviously got his toe broke up. So once Shamar Joseph's toe got broke up, I know it's not fractured, but once he got broke up, you kind of knew that, well, boy, yeah, we can bowl well, but we're going to need an awful lot to go our way. We're going to need some umpires' calls. We're going to need everybody to hold some catches, etc., etc. This looks kind of easy-ish for Australia. And the thing is with the Australians, because of the disparity in quality between the two sides, you kind of know that even if they play below their level in one innings, they're unlikely to do it a second time, if you see what I mean. So Steve Smith has obviously had a bad tour. Man's just calmly got himself to 33 not out of 56, right? So it's hard. You know what I mean? It's hard to bowl to Australia and make them underperform twice in the same match when there's a disparity between their squad. And not even a disparity. That's even underplaying it, where there is such a huge gap between the experience and quality levels of their squad versus our squad, you know. But like I say, they're 60 for 2. They still need another 156 runs to win. As I said on Twitter when I posted it, or if you've come via Facebook, where there is a will, there is a way. There is still a chance. We'd probably have to, if we realistically want to win this, we'd have to take 2 wickets within the first 30 minutes or first 45 minutes to just raise the pressure levels on Australia. I still wouldn't make us favourites if that happened, but that's the only way. We'd need 2 wickets. We need 2 wickets in the first 30 to 45 minutes. And that would get us to at least Alex Carey, right? And it just puts the pressure on them, right? But like I say, if you're asking me for the percentage chance of us winning this test match, I'd say we've got a 10% chance as things stand right now. Now, the one factor, it's 5 past, I've got 10 minutes left. The one factor that we haven't considered is rain. Now, I don't know if there's, I don't know what time it is in Australia. Probably most of them are asleep right now, right? Oh, in fact, Joe Bob has just said it for me. So it's raining currently in Brisbane at 5:05 a.m. and the chances of rain at the start of play is 73%. So I spoke to a few Australian guys a few hours ago, or like earlier on in the day, sorry, UK time. And they said that actually the rest of this match could get not rained out, but it's going to be, they think it's going to be on and off for the players throughout the rest of this match. So their thing isn't so much that Australia can't win, it's whether they can find enough time throughout all of the rain breaks to win. So we do have rain possibly on our side. But I mean, there's some people are like, oh, we shouldn't pray for rain. Are you insane? Of course we should pray for rain. World Test Championship percentage points on the line. Same thing with India in that second Test match where we got a draw because rain came and Tage did grind ball, right? Of course we should pray for rain. Like when you're playing a number 1 side, of course you need levelers to try and give you a chance in the match. And the rain would be a leveler. So anybody who's on that, let's not try and get a result with the help of rain. Let's fully get a result with the help of rain. I would drop kick everybody in this live chat right now for it to just rain out the rest of the test match. Rain the whole day. When I wake up at 4 o'clock to watch day 4, if I wake up and there's torrential rainfall, listen, I'm thanking Allah, I'm thanking Shiva, I'm thanking Jesus, I'm thanking all the God them. I'm thanking all of them. Alhamdulillah, if it's raining all day on day 4 and all day on day 5. Are you crazy? Of course. Anyways, let's get to who doesn't get to England. So I think there's only 2 players in this squad who, so the sorry, what did I say? Did I say quarter past or 10 past? I've got 7 minutes. The squad to England will be a 15-person squad, and I'll do a separate video, maybe a separate live, looking at that after the Test series is over. Hopefully Santoki can come on as well, right? I think Tage's place will be under scrutiny. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that Tage should definitely be dropped, because I need to give that some thinking. He struggled in South Africa. So remember, Tage scored a double century in Zimbabwe, right? So Tage's series have been as followed, right? Pretty much last year, he went to Australia and did well. Tage did better than what everyone's praising Kirk McKenzie for doing right now. Put that in perspective. Tage went to Australia and scored 250s and 240s, and that's better than what we're bigging up Kirk McKenzie for doing, right? That was his first Test series. He then went to Zim and scored a double century. He then struggled at home. Was it at home? Was it home? No, he struggled away in South Africa. He then, who was that? Then it was India. He then struggled versus India, but played a crucial role in our rain-affected draw in the second Test. And now he's struggled away in Australia. And Orlando's made the point I want to make. I agree with Orlando. I think that people think that Tage is some super experienced guy who's not still in basically his first year of Test cricket. The man is in his first year of Test cricket. He's played Australia away twice, South Africa away, India at home. So that's why I'm being tempered about drop Tage. I don't think it's as simple as that. And I think we've got to be mindful of the context of Tage's lack of experience and the fact he's got the hardest role in the team. He's opening. So I'll come back to Tage, but I do think his position's under scrutiny. As I said earlier, I think Graves' position, I don't even think Graves' position is under scrutiny. I just think Holder replaces him. I don't know if that means Graves gets to go in the squad, but I think Holder replaces him. Kirk keeps his spot. Alec keeps his spot. Whether they should or not, they're keeping their spot. Kavem Hodge probably has to keep his spot. If we were a more ruthless side and if we had bare man in form, then maybe there's a question mark about someone like a Shea Hope, a Brandon King, a this or a that. But to be honest, if you go to Australia as your debut series and you average 29 batting at number 5 with 150, I think you probably keep your spot and you deserve to keep your spot. Josh obviously keeps his spot. Moti and Sinclair keep their spot. Alzari, obviously. Shamar Joseph, obviously. And before anyone says no to Kemar Roach, outside of the West Indies, England is the best place for Kemar Roach to bowl. The man bowls time after time after time after time with Surrey in England. So Roach obviously keeps his spot. There's a few people outside of the squad that we have to think about. What happens when Jaden Seals comes back? He surely has to get in the squad. So that's why people need to pay very close attention to the 4-day championship and to see how certain man goes. Seals has been out for a long time. Obviously, he was supposed to be on the comeback trail, bowled well in South Africa, but he then got the shoulder injury. TNT have picked him for the 4-day squad, so we have to see how Jaden goes. But if Jaden is fit, Jaden comes straight into the squad. Don't know if he plays, but he comes into the squad. Because it's in England and because of how he bowls, I think Carl Mayers is possibly in the conversation. Whether he wants to play Test cricket again or not is another question, but I think Carl Mayers is in the conversation and probably Shea Hope is in the conversation. But people also have to remember that as much as we can say all of this stuff, after the World Cup is over, Desi's contract is over as a selector. And remember, when Roland Butcher was replaced, Cricket West Indies put out that communique saying we're reviewing how our selection processes work. We may have a new kind of selection policy and this, that. So and a different format for how we do selections. So don't be surprised if Desi's not head of selectors anymore, which means that we can't predict we actually can't predict how things will look come that England tour, because it could be a new guy. It could be a new guy fronting up. And if it's a new guy fronting up, about to say something reckless, ready for it? If it's a new guy fronting up, it's not as simple as just assuming. Here I go. It's not as simple as assuming that the Bayesian metric is a role anymore. I'm just saying. Just saying. Bayesian man, come for me. I'm just saying that it's not as simple as that anymore if there is a change in how selection is done. So bear that in mind. Couple man gonna get vexed with that last comment, but it is what it is. It is what it is, you know. So yeah, you know what, Joel? It's 7:15. So all together now. Sweet Caroline. Duh, duh, duh. I've been Machel St. Patrick here at one half of the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. Frank, thank you for the super chat right at the very end. I'll be back with a new episode. Santoki will be back once he works out how to press mute or unmute himself. And we will come back for a new episode probably tomorrow after the test match is done, assuming it is done tomorrow, rain notwithstanding. And yeah, thank you as always for joining the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. You lot have been great as usual. I've got to go. Join us in the Discord. If you want to get in the Discord, send us a message message us via Twitter. Put it in here right now. There's a couple of Discord men on the live chat. They may give you the link. As long as your name isn't Tabo, you can't get that link because you're down bad. See you soon, people.
We rule the cricket world. Now the rule seems coming.
Welcome to the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, your one-stop shop for all things West Indies cricket. By the fans, for the fans.